The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Good morning. Hi, my name is Kim Benford, aka Yourgirl, KayB, and this is...
I'm Brenda Bradford.
And welcome to the ladies' room.
It's a place where you can come and have a conversation. Excuse me. You can share your thoughts, your opinions, and learn and receive information.
This is a platform for the ladies, but men are welcome to watch and call in. But we will be discussing issues that women deal with on a day-to-day basis, and we're going to discuss the shit that men put us through.
Well, that part of the conversation is absolutely necessary.
That part.
So, what are we opening up with?
Today, we're going to open up with a quote.
Well, I found it interesting because I always hear Winston Churchill quotes. I hear quotes about men, but I did do a little research, and I found out that women are... Man, we're something else. We're out of sight. But I found this one quote extremely interesting because it discussed power. It didn't necessarily say power in your relationship as far as a man, but it just said power. So the quote is, power, you have to take it. It's not given to you.
It's not given to you.
And that was by Beyonce Carter.
And what are some ways that we can get that power for those of us who's giving it away?
You said for those of us that's giving
it
away. Well, I think first of all, we have to acknowledge that we are giving it away. And that is not easy because we assume that our job as women is to be a mother, be the wife, work, and handle everything. Not that men don't. Please don't misunderstand me. Yeah. I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. And when we do all those things without a plan for ourselves, that I believe that's giving your power away.
Giving your power away.
No, giving your power away.
But in a sense, isn't the man doing the same thing?
Well, I believe because of the way that we've been taught and raised, not saying it's right or wrong, a man's responsibility is to take care, do, and give. Period. Why are you with him? If he can't do those things for you.
But we were created to help the man.
Matter of opinion, depending on what you believe. Now, everyone might not have that same belief. Because I used to believe that it was my duty and my responsibility to make sure that my dude is good, my children are fine. And it took me a long time to learn that, no. Exactly. My responsibility is to empower myself and make sure that I'm good, that I'm fine, and that I can handle everything that I need to do by myself, with him or without him.
And I've come to that realization as well. Life would do that to you.
But the other thing about that, too, is how do you identify power? Because everybody's perception on
power is different.
Is different. What's your perception?
My perception of power is, it could be simple as, I don't know, just having the freedom or the gumption to do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, if you want a job and you're,
Are we talking about in a relationship or are you talking about
in
you're single?
In a relationship, in life. I mean, in life, if you're single, it's a little different than when you're in a relationship. Because when you're in a relationship, you can't just say, oh, I want this, I want that, because that's just being selfish. There's other people to consider.
That's what we think, but do men think the same way?
I mean, I'm not just saying for men, I'm saying like for children as well. I mean, I don't get to sleep many a nights because I have children. You know what I mean? And it's not that I'm powerless for giving up that those sleep hours. It's just that this is something that I choose to do. I'm going to be the mother to my child. I'm going to go attend to this child's needs until they reach a certain age.
No, that's true.
So that is in a sense of giving away some power, but then again, it's taking it back as well because it's doing this is something that I want to do. Okay, you get what I'm trying to say?
Right. I kind of follow. I get you because I view things just a little bit differently. We know. I view things a little bit differently, but I do understand being empowered. I do understand giving your power, and I do understand not knowing that you have the power. Because a lot of times we don't even recognize that we have the power until, there's years roll by before you really recognize who am I. Mm-hmm. So my thing is that women, young girls, mothers need to make sure that you empower your daughters.
True.
And if your mother didn't do it, it's not their responsibility. Maybe they don't know how. They didn't, came from, different backgrounds. You need to learn how to empower yourself. Mm-hmm. Be independent. I would tell any woman, I'm a woman of 40 years in a relationship with direct deposit. Mm-hmm. Okay. But a couple years ago, I recognized that direct deposit, it doesn't mean what I thought it meant.
So what does direct deposit mean?
It means that a man is taking care of you, and you basically, it's a head
That's
fake.
when you're giving up all your power.
But
when a man is taking care of you, I would never put myself in that position again.
Well, what it does, it's a head fake. They fake you out because you think, if I'm getting a certain amount of money per week, I'm not about to roll out of the bed on a rainy day.
You're living the life. Like, for what?
Not necessarily like that either. But, it's just like, it's a head fake because it makes you have a sense of false security. Mm-hmm. Because what you don't realize is that you are giving up your power if you don't utilize it. And utilizing means do something for yourself. Make something for yourself. It can be go back to school. It could be
get in shape.
It could be multiple things. Well, I know how to do that. Well, that's what got me in this trouble, cooking. No, not me. But I totally understand that you can lose yourself. And you lose your power. I lost myself in my family. I love my family. But when I sit back and look at it now, I realize that, wow, I gave so much. And how much am I getting back? And not purposely. They're not ungrateful.
They're just living their lives. They're not thinking. They're not thinking about mom.
I think what happens is that we do so much for others, and what I'm trying to really say is that we do so much for others and not so much. It takes away from us, and we need to do better as women. Period. Do more for yourself. Mm-hmm. I can't be mad at one of my daughter called me last night. She said, "Mom, I'm doing this event in one of the major
venues."
And one of the prominent people are going to be there. She was a stripper. And my whole thing was, you can't be mad at that. If she empowered herself through stripping, I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at that.
I mean, first of all, why would you be mad? And how do you figure that she's empowering herself?
Okay, because first of all, you can be mad because here's a person that was a stripper with no education, no degree, have done nothing in his life.
You need an education to strip?
No, you're not listening. You said, how would I be mad about her being a stripper? This is just one perspective.
No, how is that empowering herself by her stripping?
Because now she has more money than both of us.
What is money?
Money is power.
True.
Money is power. You can do a whole lot with money. I mean, I'm not saying it's everything. Why do you think I had direct deposit? Because it gave you freedom to do certain things that you can do if you don't have. You can do it if you didn't have it. You can't travel across the world if you don't have money. You can't. You can dream about it. I mean, I travel through books. I get it. But you have to have that physical cash to be able to do things. And what I want to say about the stripper was that she empowered herself. I'm not saying it was the right way. I'm not
judging. I never judge. But I'm just saying, how is that empowering her?
Because she can now do whatever
she has that power.
Yes.
Okay.
And it put her in a position where she can do more. Now, whether she take that and run with it in the appropriate way, which is, okay, now I strip, now I'm here. Let me educate myself. Not necessarily go to school and get a PhD, but at least be informed about whatever it is that you're trying to do. Now, that can flip us over into a whole another topic, which is still the same thing, the reality shows. You know what I mean? Those girls, they used to come on and go off. Now they come on and they try to make a life out of it. They take that 15 minutes and run with it. And I think that's a good thing, too. I think that is a really good thing. Because if you have a vision, if you can think it, dream it, do it. And that means if it means turning from stripper to reality person, who's that? Nene Leakes, Wasn't she a stripper?
She was a stripper.
Right. And I mean...
A lot of people, Cardi B, she was a stripper. Maybe I should have stripped.
But I just think there were other things that were available.
Yeah.
And it's a mindset too. It's a background. It's where you're from. It's how you raised. I was raised in a prominent area, decent, where education was the key.
Yeah.
But it's not really true either.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like I'm finding now with 2 sons who graduated from college and a daughter in college. To me now, my whole outlook on, you got to get an education. No, go to trade school. I mean, go to trade school.
Okay, well, with that being said, I actually have children as well that are in college and that have graduated. But this was a mentality that I put in them from learning from my own eras. I didn't make all the right decisions. So what I told my children is go to school, get information, but do not come out of here and tell me you're going to get a job. You tell me you're coming out here to create a job. Then we can have a conversation. But if you tell me that I'm wasting my time helping you do school.
Stay at home or go to community college.
Community college is good. Don't knock it.
No, it is. I'm not knocking that. No,
because I'm going to tell you one thing I have learned from actually going to college is that there are some things you don't learn on the streets, around your family, that you can't get in the books. But that's just a general reading. Just read. You know, if you pick that topic, like I was trying to say about the stripper earlier, that if they strip and they become a certain, get a certain fame, I think that you have an obligation to yourself to pick up something, read something, learn something. Then you can do better. Your children not only financially do better, but mentally do better because it's a mindset.
So are you saying that when you said, excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with my voice this morning, but are you saying that for the stripper, excuse me, sorry about that. But you're saying that the stripper, for instance, it's the mind frame, you know, this and that. Is she in it for the fame? Is that what you're saying, for the fame, or for what are you saying?
No, when I say mindset, I mean there takes a certain type of particular individual that would get up there and dance. But if you really look at it, you go to the clubs, the girls dance, they come in there half naked and they dance for free.
That's true.
So if she's up there with a plan and say I can dance and I can get this money. But what I really meant with that actually was that, okay, she's a stripper. I'm saying do that. Become famous through stripping. But then you have an obligation, I think, just my own personal opinion, to say, okay, now I'm here.
At this plateau.
So now let me do something different. And not just with money. I believe in money now.
Yeah, you do.
But not just... Did I just hear that?
Okay. She's real bougie.
No, I'm not. I just
and they try to say it's me. It's not me. It's her.
No, it's not. It's not. But I think that you have a responsibility that when you know better to do better. And if you come from a stripper and then you have an opportunity to get through those...
better yourself.
To better yourself financially. Then you need to better yourself mentally.
Absolutely.
Because most of us think inside of a box.
Okay.
We're in a box. And it's
I just have a hard time of thinking it's the whole stripping thing because I can't dance.
Oh, well. But I'm saying people are having sex for free. So,
never that.
If you're going to do it for free, I mean, it's just different ways to look at it. Now, if you say morally, is it right or wrong? That's a personal opinion.
That's a personal thing.
But I'm saying that if you look at the facts, and which is I dance for money. We can go to any of these clubs in Hollywood and the young ladies are dancing for nothing. And we'll roll off with a brother if it looks right. So I'm not mad at a stripper.
No, I'm not mad either.
But I just wish that our young African-American ladies, strippers or not, would just go to the next level.
Change that mind.
Because, I wrote down a question and asked myself, what is success? What do I think success
what
is?
do you?
It varies. It took me a minute to answer it because now you have to understand I'm older and my perspective on things are different. But when I was younger, I looked at things different.
When you're younger, of course, money, a big house, this and that. For me nowadays, it's for my kids to be productive, to be entrepreneurs, to be good people. You know what I mean? And for me to,
No, for me today now it's not about the children now. It's not about them. I
am starting to get there though.
Yeah, the children I've done that already.
Well, because I have a 7-year-old. Oh, that's my baby.
Okay, now if you want to really help them one way, which is teach him commerce.
Oh, Aiden knows commerce.
No, teach him commerce. I'm serious.
That's a serious topic. I think he's the only child of ours that that's really got everything mentally, and I mean, he knows money. He knows.
Give me an example.
Give you an example
of how you describe him understanding commerce.
Well, like with Aiden, okay. You know how, like, his dad would, he uses coupons. And so Aiden's like, well, why do you use coupons all the time? And he was like, one of these days you're going to stop being so cheap. We're like looking at him like, you don't understand because, you're this certain age, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no. He actually sat Anthony down and he was like, you know what? He said, see, with the allowance that I get, he said, with the allowance that I get, if I want something, I'm not going to buy nothing else, only the thing that I want. And he said, I know that with this week's allowance, I'm not able to get it. So he said, I have to wait probably like 2 or 3 months. He said, but then I'm going to be able to buy exactly what I want. And he said, I don't want to use a coupon. I said, but you're saving money when you use a coupon. He said, but I'm not getting exactly what I want on a coupon. They said, look, you said you wanted, because, I drink kombucha. And he was like, you said you wanted lemon and ginger, whatever. And he was like, on the coupon, they said you can only get, he can read and everything. So I was like, well, hey.
Okay. I will go with it.
Yeah,
and I think that needs to be a precedent that needs to be set for all of us, is to make sure that our children do understand commerce, because I have a son that dates outside of our race. Mm-hmm. And but one of the most interesting conversations I had with him about that, because I had that conversation.
We know.
Malcolm X over here.
Auntie had the conversation with him as well.
But what he told me, he said, Mom, you want me to tell you the difference between their household and our household? And I'm like, okay, what's the difference? Mm-hmm. He said, it's loving, it's warm, our household is friendly, it's just a lot of love going on in our household. He said, and in their household is a little sterile, and the conversation is extremely limited to commerce.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But that's just your household and her household.
Who's the comparison about us? It's about our household and his household.
You don't represent all black people, boo-boo.
No. I'm just saying that's a conversation I had with him. Mm-hmm. And his conversation was telling me the difference between our house and their house.
Okay.
And he also said that you and Pops probably make 3 times more money than their parents. But they live in Anaheim Hills, and there's a difference on how you utilize the money. That's the point. Mm-hmm. Is that, and if we would have had a better understanding on how to use money, me personally growing up from Carson, California, I think that we would have made different decisions. Mm. Okay? Now, the different decision, my son's 21, he gets a car. Their daughter's 21, she gets an apartment building. That's a big difference.
That's a hell of a big difference.
That's a big difference. Mm-hmm. And that's talking about starting your life. Mm-hmm. So it made me reflect. I didn't get upset. I didn't get angry about that. What I did do was say, what can I learn from there? And now I have 2 grandchildren that need to understand commerce. They need to understand how to handle money. They need to understand trade. They need to understand, what do you do with finance? How do you save? In my early days, Gucci, Chanel, Prada, all that. And all that could have been in a bank account. Mm-hmm. Unless I had went over the top with it and I was, a billionaire, then we got a little bit different conversation. Yeah. But I'm just saying, and not saying that one is better, one is right, one is wrong. The difference that my son shared with me about the 2 different households. And I was able to relate to that after I processed it. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, wow. First I was a little bit like, don't come here telling me about, Sister Girl was coming out. But then I calmed down and I said, you know what, Brenda, sit down. Why did that irritate you? Mm. And the reason why it irritated me, because there was some truth in there that I didn't do that particular part as far as making sure that my children really understood how to handle money. We've always been around it. Yeah. All my children are relatively successful, but I'm saying we could have been at another level had I had a better understanding. Who am I blaming? My parents? No. I'm blaming self, because it's too much information that's out here for us to still be in a situation in 2018 where we don't understand what to do, how to do, when to do. I don't want to march.
So where's your son at now? I mean, it's one thing to recognize it, but what is he doing?
He is actually now making sure that he get that full ride. His question was, he called the coach yesterday and he did say, okay, I need to understand the terminology and the lingo. I've read it and I've read it over. Is this saying that I'm getting a complete full ride? Mm-hmm. There's no expenses to me. So he really cannot do anything right now as far as work, but any money that we do give him, it's for his personal use, but he can't do anything financially right now because he just signed the contract. So once that's over, then, we can move on with that. But now what are my other children doing? I'm just saying, but not that we didn't talk about money or we didn't stress it, but we just stressed it in a different way. Let me just put it like that. Like I make sure that they understood, like I said earlier, I make sure that they understood that it is important and it's necessary to have. It is necessary to generate. It is necessary to utilize it wisely. Now I've learned all this now. Now, come on now. But I'm talking, girl, I didn't know better. But, I'm making sure that they do understand that utilize that money. My
power.
It's power. It's power. But then power is not only in money, like we started off with. Power is just knowing yourself. It's just understanding who you are. It's just making good life choices. And how do you do that if you don't know that? But we have Google.
We have the ladies' room. Come on now.
Absolutely. It's a lot of information that you can get. Being empowered means a lot more than just money.
Okay, so for a young girl who might be listening to this show, and she might say, well, hey, how do I gain that power? What advice would you give to her?
Well, actually, I would say sit down, take some in a quiet place, ask yourself some questions. Who am I? What do I want? How do I plan on getting? What are the steps? Even if you don't have
like you're talking to me.
Even if you don't have the right, even if you don't understand the steps, but just the first step is to know that I do need to be able to empower myself. How do I do that? I've had multiple young ladies come up to me and ask me questions. Just the other day, I told you, 3 young ladies in 3 different situations. My heart went out to them. I wanted to say, come home with me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, these are young. One of them was a young lady that was coming back from college. She had got bamboozled to go out to Bethune University in the South. And from her story, I didn't witness this myself, but what she told me, that there was a lot of chaos going on out there as far as the administration and a lot of different stuff. So she had to come back home. Now, here she had made it all the way out there through, I would like to give a shout out to Teresa Rando, who was one of the young ladies that started the Black College Expo.
Oh, okay.
And I also went to high school with her.
Oh, okay.
But she told me that Teresa helped her get out there. Now, when she had to come back home, her mother, who is a school teacher, told her that she couldn't come home.
Why?
I know. I know. But that's one side of the story. I didn't talk to the mother.
Yeah.
You know, I said, where does your mother work? Because I'm going to go talk to her. You know, because this is a beautiful young lady.
Daughter out?
Yeah, well,
Wow.
you know, and that was just one story. I told you there were 3 that in one day at different locations at the struggle of our young black women in 2018. I was shocked. My heart went out. I was like, oh my God, you know, but I did give a number. I said, call me. You know, I don't want you in the streets. If you really need something, please don't be abusive. But if you need something, call me.
Wow.
You know, so I'm just saying that we have to empower ourselves, and it's not easy because it's where do you start? Where do you start? Do you start them as a child? Now, here's a 19-year-old that has lived a certain lifestyle, background's different than, you know, our children, but she's out here stuck now.
Wow.
Trying to figure it out. But she had a plan, though. Because I sat down with her
You gotta always have a plan.
I sat down with her for an hour. I said, okay, what's the plan? Just like you asked me, what would I tell her? And I said, okay, listen, what are you going to do now? What do you want to get?
She had it figured out.
Well, yeah, she had an idea. She had an idea. She had an idea, and you know, she said she wanted to go to Hawaii to go to school, this and that, and all that. But you know, it was good. I had a good conversation when I didn't walk away. I sat there with her for about an hour.
Now, another question I want to impose on you is, so how do you get your power back with a man? I can't even talk now. Let's say a woman who's in a relationship. How do you still be in that relationship, but still have your power?
It just depends on, is the relationship worth it? Is it healthy? I mean, what are the pros and cons to it? You know, I've been in a relationship. You know,
the pros and cons
to
the relationship.
Exactly.
Tell me. Speak on it.
Okay, it depends. Now, you know, I have a different perspective.
I know.
So my whole thing is, you're not going to be the only one grinning.
True.
Period. It's not going to happen. I'm not.
What makes you grin though?
Empowering myself. Got it. No, but in the relationship, it's difficult because when, just say for instance, for me, when I went into my relationship 100 years ago, I was this young, naive girl, and I wasn't about the money.
Me neither.
I wasn't about the money.
I don't think. Well, I can't say that.
I wasn't about, but I was about, you can't come to my house without bringing a gift. That didn't, you know, so maybe that was love.
No,
maybe
that was all about love. Oh, he loved me.
Oh,
I was about love.
No, I like you.
Yeah,
I
always like, but he always loved.
I like you. But I'm just saying that I had a different perspective on it. I mean, if I was really about the money like I am now, back then, I mean, I did a week.
She is.
Stop it. I did a week in Lake Tahoe with the original Lakers. And what
back in the day.
Yeah. And what my thing was, my girlfriend was like, oh my God, Brenda, nobody ever told me that they were millionaires and what millionaire meant. But what I did learn was that they were not attractive. So I wasn't about the money back then because it was about the looks. But right now, today, it's different. You have to empower yourself, period. Just know who you are. Know where you're going. Know what you want. Mm-hmm. I know all those things now.
I know what I want.
But the question, I'm sorry, the question was really
Did
about...
you just cut me off on
I'm
air?
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm so sorry, Poopy. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was trying to go back to your original question.
Okay.
Which was, how do you empower yourself if you're in a relationship now? Was that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the one thing, first of all, is don't overreact and don't respond to everything that's said to you. Because you have to remember, once we've been in relationships for a long time, what that individual is saying to you is not directly to you, about you. I think sometimes it's about them. And when they see your growth and they see you changing, transforming, and developing, I think it brings on a fright. They become scared.
They become scared.
And not knowing that if you handle that correctly, this growth is about both of us.
But you're making it just be about the one person by your reaction.
Yes. But you have to... when you're growing, that means that you know better. So that means you have to do better. And you have to respond differently. I started responding differently in my relationship. I wasn't the same. You started saying little things to me like, Brenda, did you really do this? Or implying that I'm not as intelligent as I think I am. And not in a negative way. I felt that he really meant those things to be helpful.
It's just the way that he said it.
And if you don't understand verbiage, if you don't understand tone, all those type of things, it can be misconstrued. Yes. And I understood how you said it, brother. This is how you meant it, like you said it, but then you want to clean it up. But I want to go just say that it is important. It is really important just to not to overreact. Have a plan and go around the subject.
Yep.
If there's a subject in your way, a brick wall, that was a question I asked myself last night. If there's a brick wall in my way, what am I going to do?
Bust through that.
No, sometimes we can't go through them. That's the same thing in relationships with your husband, sisters, friends. You love these people, but...
What you going to do, climb the wall?
No. You figure out a way to go around them. You can get around it. You can get around anything if you just be patient, take your time.
And that's my downfall because I don't have patience. That's something I'm working on, though.
And it's always a work in progress when you have to change and you have to become. Because what you are changing and you are becoming. It's like the little caterpillar turning into a beautiful butterfly. You're transforming. And so we all are. Even me. In all these years with my husband, I'm looking at things a whole lot differently. Like, I can't believe But, I do understand that you have to be patient within yourself. That's part of growing and knowing who you are.
Part of growing.
Nothing's going to happen overnight, maybe. Right place, right time.
Around that too,
No, but my whole thing is for you to empower yourself. First thing, know that you need to. The second thing is to be patient. And the third thing is to have a plan.
Good point.
And have the steps with that plan. And that's the same thing with, in life. We have to have a plan, not just goals. We have to
have a plan to
and what
reach
are the steps?
goals.
Yes, what are the steps to reach them? And that's important.
Yep.
But I want to say to you that how is it now that you have been in the relationship for a long time and you are transforming? How is it affecting your life?
I mean, for me, it's just living every day. I mean, of course, we're going to get older. Of course, we're going to acquire more knowledge. We're going to know more. I mean, with me, things haven't really changed except for the time, I can go into a little deeper, but I ain't going to do that right now on our first show. But we will address that. I mean, I'm just, I feel a little different now. I'm like,
I know. Okay, so what would you tell a young lady that was...
First of all, I would tell a young lady, because both of us were, young when we got married. I was 18 when I met him, and then we got married when I was 21, I think, or 22. And to me now, knowing what I know now, that was just way too young. Because at the time, you might be in love with somebody, but like Andre 3000 say, forever, ever. That's forever. You know what I mean? So you're not thinking about that at that age. So, I would just tell her, be in love, be engaged for a while, not just jump straight into marriage. And I was never even proposed to either.
Oh my God.
He's like, you gonna marry me. I'm gonna marry you.
So he's a bully. No, but they pick up bully ways, as you move into the situation. But because you're young, you allow them to take charge, not knowing, wait a minute, I have a thought, I have an opinion.
I remember one time me telling my husband, I was like, oh, I love black licorice. He was like, don't nobody like black licorice.
Oh, I do.
I was like, oh, excuse you. Yeah, so I mean, it's
just little things like
little
that.
Things,
I know, and they add up, and then you start reviewing and looking at it. But I just think that at some point we have to face what it is, and that's the hardest part. The hardest part about empowering yourself is facing your truths.
Yeah.
And what they are, and the truths around the people, the truths about the people who are around you and how they affect your life.
You're in your everyday circle.
I have to, true. At some point I have to just say, no, I'm backing up out of everybody's life except mine. And I did that.
And that's hard for me to do because my boys, I'm like, who is that? What you?
I know. Trust me. Trust me.
I'm all on it. Like, who is that girl? What happened to I got to know everything.
No. I that was me, but I backed out and said, I'll get a call. Mom, once I get the call and then I realize what it's about, I already had that conversation with them. So I'm not I'm not repeating it no more. And you do repeat
over and over.
No, I'm not
boys.
No more. It's like, you know what? I think we had this conversation already, but what I am going to do is I'm going to call you back. Click. And it took a lot for me to get there.
That's good. I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, because I'm a yes mom. First time I said no to my children for anything, I think was in 2017. I'm going to make it happen. What is the solution? Let's get it done, so they know if you call me with any type of panic in your voice, I'm like, okay, calm down. What happened? But at this point, I'm no longer her.
Yeah.
At this point is Brenda, breathe. You've done everything that you can do. You've given out all the tools that you have. Because my daughter told me one day, Mom, there were some tools that you didn't give me. I said, okay, I understand that. So what are we going to do about those tools that I didn't give you? Why don't you research them and find them so whenever you have children, you can give them to them. But take the tools that I did give you and utilize them to the best of your opinion.
Get the tools you need.
And then I was a little irritated. What are you talking to? But I never go there. I was just like, okay, and push it on. But I did think about that later on, as I was moving through my day, and my life still bugs me a little bit about her telling me that, because I tried to do everything I possibly could to make sure that your life is smooth. But at the end of the day, I was like, okay. So then when I did say no, I just started thinking about all the little ungrateful moments that they gave. And that made my no easier.
Wow.
But, okay, so what do we have on our topic list here? What else are we going to talk about?
Before we go to break, we were going to, I'm sorry, when we come back from break, we are going to discuss why is it so hard for some women to uplift other women.
Okay, and I also want to touch a little bit about the Bill Cosby situation when we come back from break. And I also want to touch a little bit about the Bill Cosby situation when we come back from break. And I also want to touch a little bit about the Bill Cosby situation when we...
To leave my condo to come to this. Well, I'm back, but this time I'm with my man. And these women are putting their hands all over his Yamamoto Kanzai sweater, the iPod.
Ladies' room. Okay, so what was our topic, Kim? I believe it is about...
let's talk about Bill Cosby. Talk about it.
I'm just like, I don't know.
Were you shocked first?
Well, I was shocked with the initial... when they initially came out and said Bill did this and Bill did that.
It's Hollywood.
I mean, I get that part of it, but I was shocked because, is it like 30 years later?
Yeah.
So my thing is that, okay, if you've been carrying that around for 30 years,
who does that?
Go get counseling. Work it out, and then I think if you were that adamant about it, you should have just
did something years and years ago.
But then, like you said, it's Hollywood, and who want to give their career up for, something that you can get past. Like I said, some of these ladies sleeping for free. So, if you do bill and you can get into something.
But, I mean, who's to say? Because, that stuff does, do go on in Hollywood. Who's to say that it didn't happen, though? You know what I mean? The whole Me Too thing, if I say something the next week, you're going to come back and you're going to say something. I mean.
But I think what they really should have did with legally is to have a real criteria, because now it has just went
What would that
crazy.
criteria be?
I'm trying to process that right now to see
Because
what
I
it
have a
could be.
story, and this is I have a story.
Okay.
So I went to a spa. I wanted to get waxed because I'd never been waxed before. I just wanted to get have a strip. So this lady, as soon as I walked in, she was like, "Oh, hey, girlfriend." This white chick. She was like, "Hi, girlfriend. I'm going to take care of you, this, and that." And I was like, I'm kind of nervous. I never got waxed before, blah, blah, blah. And so she was like, "Oh, don't worry about it." She's just talking to me, reassuring me that everything was going to be okay. So, whatever. I laid down, whatever. And as she's talking to me, she's like touching me. You know what I mean? And, by me being so nervous, because I said, I'm nervous. I don't want to kick you in your face because, it hurts, And while she's talking to me, she's like touching me. And so, I'm like, hold up. She's like, "Oh, just calm down, And I said, "Well, okay, And she's steady talking. Her hand is still hasn't moved.
She's touching you where?
She's touching me. And I was like,
I said, where?
She's touching me where she's going to wax.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so my body.
Oh, no, I thought she probably was working on that, but put her hand somewhere else on your body. But go ahead.
Her hand was on my inner thigh, I would say. Yeah, so that was really, really, creepy. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, hold up, and she's like, I'm going to put the wax in, it's going to be a little warm. She's explaining the whole procedure to me. But while she's doing that, her hand is there. So, I just felt I'm like, what the, this don't feel right. And so I was like, what, never mind. I don't want to get it done, this and that. She was like, oh, no, she apologized over and over and over again. They gave me free meal, I got a free massage or whatever. But my whole thing was the whole way that she came at me, "Oh, hey, girlfriend." Like, she was super excited and girlfriend, and I was just like, whatever. She was getting on my nerves saying girlfriend. But I was just like, whatever. And she was like, too cool. You know what I mean? Trying to be too cool.
Okay, but my point was, did you say anything to her about her making you feel uncomfortable?
I did.
Okay.
I said, that's why I stopped. I was like, I'm not going to get it done after all. I said, because, I really feel, I feel raped.
Violated.
That's the word. I said, I really do feel violated. And she's like, no, she was really sorry. Her face turned red. She was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, but yeah, I said, but you're touching me. I understand that you're going to touch me to, but not during the whole process. Before the process, you could talk to me, face to face. So I was just sitting there like, was I just, I felt I struggled for that for like months. I just went home and shaved. Like, I never got it done. Never.
Wow, that's interesting.
And so I was like, when the Me Too stuff came, I was like, should I go back and sue that establishment? Me too.
So maybe if anything did happen to Bill Cosby with these ladies, maybe they felt the same way.
That's what I'm saying. Because I did address that with the management. And I mean, they, like I said, they took care of me. But at the same time, I was like, I
don't want to take that lightly. I don't want to take what these ladies have said about Bill lightly. Mm-hmm. But my only problem with that is the fact that I read a while back that Bill wanted to purchase NBC.
You gonna talk about it?
No, I'm just saying, like, he wanted to purchase NBC. And I mean, here we are back with empowerment. This is empowering on another level. If he's making a move like that, and maybe, that's not what the system or the establishment want to happen, but he's qualified, he has the money. Okay, so let's see what we could dig up. I mean, Michael Jackson, let's go here. Michael Jackson was the world's one of the world's greatest entertainers. Some could say the best entertainer. But his character will forever be blemished by the accusations. And it doesn't matter if it happened or not. True. Because now when we think Mike, we not only think he's the best, but we also think in the back of my mind, could he have done something like that?
Yeah, that's true.
So the things that are out there about people that they have to live with. Now, Bill did this. I mean, I would believe it a whole lot more if even one woman would have came forward when it happened. One. I want to take that to on the college level with my son in the football. It was a young man that was playing football with him. Mm-hmm. Now, the guy had got accused of rape out in another city. And it wasn't proven that happened. So when he came to play where my son was playing at, that was baggage that he brought with him. Now, the trainer, a young Caucasian woman, and he's a brother, She was at his house at 11 o'clock at night, and next thing you know, the police are there, not that night, but he's being charged for rape again. Now, this little dude had a girlfriend, little player status, kind of, I think. And I think that in my heart of hearts, I don't think he raped her.
But that's hard to say.
I don't think he raped her.
Because some boys don't take no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and some girls don't take no. He didn't want to be bothered with her. I got a girl. I slept with you. We did it. Let's keep it moving. That's just my theory. I'm telling you my theory. Okay. This is my theory. And my theory is simply that I just didn't get the vibe. I mean, I've talked with him extensively, not just because I talked to him, he didn't do it, but my whole thing is simply, that you came out of a situation that you were already accused of that in an area that was predominantly white. Now you down here playing ball here, you know that you can't do that. Mm-hmm. But like you said, maybe he didn't want to take no. But my thing about that too is, why are you in a position where that could happen? Why are you not massaging him at the school? You're the therapist at the school. Why are you at his home? You know he has a girlfriend. Oh, that just clicked to my side chick. But I'm saying, he has a girlfriend, so why would you put yourself in that position? And I just think that he was off. Scholarships everywhere, and it's fame, and everybody wanted. I'm sorry. Everybody wants to be a part of whatever that can make their life a little bit easier. Back to that money thing. And I think that he just rejected her, and she was upset about it. And she thought, he didn't get arrested the next day.
What was the reason for her going to his house at 11 anyways?
No point. I'm just saying, why were you there? That was my point. But he didn't get arrested the next day. It was weeks later. So it's like, okay, well, we're going to see what he's going to do. This is just my theory. What is he going to do? If he don't call me and he's not this and that. Okay, now what can I do? Because women are vicious.
Yeah.
No, we're vicious. No, we are vicious. We have vicious. I think I'm sweet as pie, but I can be vicious as well. I mean, just here's the truth. One of them truths that you have to deal with that empowers me. Who am I? Why? What can I? Yeah. Do I have that in me? Of course. Did I suppress it? Yes. Make me mad. I have to de-escalate the situation. But I want to go back to Cosby, and I want to go back to, I was just
What did he get, 30 years? How old is he? 80 something?
How much time did he get?
I think 30 years.
Oh, my God. So that's life in prison.
He's going to die.
That's another African-American male that is a part of the statistics. I was reading about the other little rapper. It didn't have anything to do with rape, but it said that this dude got life in prison. And I said, well, I was reading an article looking for murder, attempted murder, something, but I don't know. That's a whole nother topic, because now we're talking about how are African-American men treated, how are African-Americans treated, period. But let's stay on focus with Cosby. What are your thoughts?
Like I said, with the whole Me Too thing, I don't believe all the stories that are coming out, but I think everybody's jumping the bandwagon, to be honest. I really do. And like Russell Simmons, he got found not guilty, which I guess is a good thing or whatever. But
I think Russell's demeanor and his behavior and everything about him played a part in it. And Cosby probably have more money than Russell.
Cosby can't see.
I'm not talking about that kind of way. I'm talking about the way he interacted. When Russell got accused, he instantly snatched back. He instantly went, incognito. He instantly, went into his team went into damage control.
Oh, okay, good PR.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And Cosby was kind of fighting and being a little combative. And I'm not saying kiss their butts to get what you want, but I'm saying be cool until you're in a position where you can speak on it. You can say what you want to say after you've been found not guilty, but don't put flames on the fire. Or don't add gasoline to the fire, or whatever one of those little...
You know how some people, when you lie on this, if you tell a lie on some people, they will react in that way. Some people, they stay calm and collected, but some people are like, oh, hell no, I didn't do that. It's just the way that they react. So,
but here it is dealing with the truth. Cosby is not new to this game, period.
True.
He's been in these people, in the systems, he's been dealing with the system for a long time. So you understand how it works. And it doesn't matter if you're 70 or you're 17. It's a certain mannerism that you need to have in order to do that. This is what I don't understand about our African young men with the tats all over the face. And
oh my gosh.
I love
we
tats.
went out to eat yesterday, and this guy had tattoos all on his neck, all on his face.
But if you are a young individual and you are not living your life in a certain manner, which could create a situation where you have to be in front of a judge, what do you think that judge is going to say? And how many African American judges are there in the system enough to understand who you are and what you are? But when you present yourself in a particular manner, the results are not necessarily about what you did. It's about who you are. Because fear, I think there's a fear factor with our African American men with white men.
Yeah, I think that's been for years.
That's what I'm talking about. So that fear, all that the tattoos do is increase the fear. Now, Tommy Hilfiger's son is tatted from neck to bottom. But do you think he's going to be standing in front of a judge? No, because his heritage.
Of course.
Back to that money. But now I heard that one of the LA rappers was convicted, which was 03 Greedo. And when I looked at him, and I saw all the tats on his face.
Which we had the pleasure of meeting.
Yeah, we did at the Art Gala on the 29th of last month. Yeah, he did. And he was really a really wonderful individual. But will the judge be able to see that? No. When the judge and the jury look at him, they're going to see this guy, that was putting out a certain, persona.
He's a rapper. He's, lived this lifestyle. Yeah.
Exactly. And you rapping about certain things. Yeah. But in reality, he was a really beautiful, wonderful individual. And I want to send out, a little shout.
He is. You said was. He is a good.
Well, he was. No, it is.
It might change him. No, I'm just playing.
No. I'm saying was because now he will not be available to us on the same level. Yeah. Now if they're saying that he has life, so it is he was. Yeah, with us.
That's true.
And now what he's becoming when he comes in there, that's going to be a different story. But my whole point of saying that is that because now you have to go in front of the judge. And it doesn't matter. You have tats everywhere, all on your face. So you look like the individual that's being described by the prosecutor.
True. What do you think about tattoos? All these tattoos.
I mean, I'm not tatted. And I think that, but there's some that I like, to be honest with you. If I had to get one, I think I would have gotten probably a spaceship.
I got the tramp stamp.
You did what?
I got that tramp stamp.
What does that mean?
That tattoo on your lower back. I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
What does it say?
It's a butterfly.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that has a good, excuse me. It sends a good message with the butterfly.
I never show it.
But if I would have gotten a tattoo, I wanted a spaceship.
A spaceship.
A spaceship. I'm thinking outside the box with, the stars and the moon and different galaxies. There's other stuff going on, But I just never put any thoughts into that, really, because, I can view them.
Yeah.
What's that? Black ink? I can watch that. But I'm just saying that for our young boys that, that's a personal choice as well to get the tats. But when they start creeping on your face, you need to be billionaires. Yeah. You don't need to have to come to this society for anything. You
should be able to cover them up. Your arms,
You should be billionaires. You do not need to have to deal with this society if that's your choice. To have them all over your face.
Even your neck. Even right here. And
what were you thinking? Because you said you have one.
I don't know. It was just, I don't know.
How old were you?
I was 20. I was in my 20s.
Oh, you were old enough to make a decision?
Yeah, I was. Because I wanted one. I went and got one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what happened to that attitude? What happened to that attitude? No.
I don't really like showing my body, so I don't show it, whatever. I just got it because I wanted it. Okay, did that. Just like when I went skydiving. I wanted to do it.
What was that experience like?
Oh my gosh. I got a rush. You get a rush. Yeah. Like you have all that fear walking up, to the little.
But you conquered that. That was good.
I like that. Shit.
Did you hear that?
No, I'm just playing.
Did you hear that? You had all that fear, but then you did it.
Yeah, I was like,
empowering
I can do this
yourself.
Again, but I never went back. I peed a little bit.
But, oh my God.
I did. I was like,
but that's okay. That was a moment where that could happen.
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to skydive though.
It was fun.
I'm not doing anything that body could wind up slammed up against rocks or something. No, not gonna happen. I'm not doing it. But I do commend anybody that will be daring enough to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's challenging, and that's saying that I can. And that's what it is. And we can, you can, they can. And so that's important to keep alive.
It is.
But I want to go back to with the Bill Cosby one more time, because I'm really disturbed by the fact that they all of a sudden every jury, he's guilty.
I was really shocked. I was like, are you, I had to see it for myself because somebody called and told me. I was like, what? I just never thought, I mean, all these other people going off, I just never thought that he would actually do time behind that.
Do you think it had something to do with, and I know this is a little old and maybe a little cliche, but I think that a transformation happened with the OJ and Nicole thing.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's their get back?
Yes,
for,
yes,
for
I think so.
OJ getting off, they're going to
absolutely.
get Bill?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not saying that particular, that's it. But I'm thinking, it's a secret society. I believe that there are decisions that are made that we are not aware of.
Of course.
And that's through the judges and through the, the system. It's
their whole membership.
It's the good old boys club.
Mm-hmm. So you really, that's what you think that is?
I think a part of it says, who do Bill think he is? You're not about to walk away with NBC. I don't think so. I think a little bit of it. And then I think that Bill may have made some bad choices. But we have to remember, though, it's been a man's world.
Not anymore. No, I mean, it still is, but it's turning, baby. It's our time
Wasn't
now.
it James Brown who did It's a Man's World?
It's a man's world. That's the show that's going to come next. But it won't be nothing without a woman or a girl or whatever.
But I'm just saying that it has been a man's world.
It has.
Because
really
I did even let's go back to women and having the opportunity to vote.
We were talking about that last night.
Yeah, we knew we did the little thing, and just to realize that, my God, we really had no power, and men really do look at you like this is what you're supposed to do.
And okay,
go ahead.
This is what you're supposed to do. This brings up my next topic. Mm-hmm. You know how some men, like back in the day, like you just said, we were there to clean the house. We were there to, oh, honey, you're home. He's, wiping them down. Here's your meal, this and this and that. So nowadays, men are talking about, oh, I like a woman that's independent, right? Mm-hmm. So we're independent. Why in the fuck should we still be cooking and cleaning and wait for you to come home? I mean, really?
Okay, all right, I can go with that. But I do think that there are some values and things that we do need to hang on to.
We do need to hang on to values.
That we can change it. You have to change it, but how do you know how to change it unless you can say you're changing them from what to what? I mean, I grew up where dinner was served at 7. Mm-hmm. And if you walked in at 7:01, you knew to keep walking to your room. My parents didn't play. Mm-hmm. No, there were rules, and you had to abide by them. But, of course, I was the one that said, hey, I no longer want to live here. I can't do these rules anymore, with the bags packed. But I said that just to say that there has to be some structure and some type of format in the house.
Of course,
everybody
in every household. Everybody's household.
We had dinner at 7, and then when my children started coming of age, we have baseball practice, track practice, cheerleading practice, everything was going on
now.
Yeah. So we had, it was no longer that we could just sit down at the table. But what I did do to keep that tradition, because I kind of liked it, was that I said that on Saturday mornings, before everything gets started, we can have a family meeting. We can talk about whatever issues.
You didn't have no football games, no early weigh-ins and all that?
Listen to me. I said Saturday mornings, we have football games. I know, but this was my program. Saturday mornings, before we get started with our day, that is an opportunity for us to have a sit down as a family and everybody discuss whatever the problem is. Mm-hmm. Now, during the week, I no longer have time to deal with every little single issue. So now, if there's no blood, no broken bones, and your feelings are just hurt, can you write it down? And we can talk about that on Saturday morning before we start our day. But it transitioned from my family being able to have that time at dinner time at 7 in the evening where we had dinner. I set the table 6:25 every night. But
did you?
Yeah, yes. But from that to now, we no longer can do that because of the busy schedules, because now it's a whole new game.
Yes.
But I still want to hear it. I still gave my children a voice. Yeah. And this is the day for you to have that voice. What are you mad about? What are you complaining about? Who did what? All that. Saturday mornings before we got started.
But you didn't address the dinner. What time did you guys have dinner? 7:00 like your family? Or
no, it became when it was available, when we could, in between drop-off pickups.
Yeah.
But what I did do was I still cooked. I still found time in my day to make sure that I cooked. So now we didn't do fast food.
Mm-hmm.
No,
that's why
really all my kids look so healthy and stuff right now, because now you just now being introduced to that crap. But I did not do fast foods. We did not. We did restaurants. We had our one night out as a family restaurant. But as far as running into McDonald's, running into Taco Bell, Jack in the Box, all that kind of stuff, that was off limits. I cooked every single day though, because maybe I felt that I had an obligation to make sure that they ate right. Mm-hmm. Maybe I had an obligation as a woman. Maybe that was where my power was at the moment throughout, making sure the house was right, tight, and, maybe that's why I didn't get up direct deposit. I don't know.
I gave that power away. No. I do cook, but not every day. That's crazy. I don't even like cooking.
But see, I didn't mind because I knew that they were going to eat healthy, or what I considered to be healthy at that time. Mm-hmm. And even right now, today in 2018, I have a vegan and a vegetarian.
I have a vegan.
So, but I cooked every single day to make sure that
But were you working?
Baby. All the time. I'm always doing something.
I mean, with a job, 9 to 5.
I created my own job my whole life. Oh, yeah, okay. And I didn't have kids. When I worked at Hughes Aircraft, I think my daughters were born, after I walked off of that. But when I walked off of that, I walked off into trying to make a way for myself.
Okay.
It didn't matter what I do. I'd make time for that because that was my family and that was my priority.
Yeah, that's your
and I said, I'm going to be a better mom than my mom. I'm going to be a better,
we all
all
say
that.
We all say
so
that.
And my priority was to make sure that my children ate healthy. And if I came to your house, I would bring snacks and stuff with me. Mm-hmm. So that I'm taking care of my children and making sure that wherever we go, be taken care and you're not going to eat just whatever. And we didn't eat pork.
How the time flies.
I wanted to make sure we got that in there. We did not eat pork.
We don't. We still don't eat pork.
When you go to other people's house, you don't know what they're serving. Yeah. So I would take my.
That was actually that was fun.
Yeah, I had a great day. I had a great time. So what are you going to close the show out with? What do you want our listeners to know?
I'm going to close out with a quote. Author unknown, and it says, "Why are women so much more interesting to men than men are to women?" And I'll leave you with that.
Wow. Okay, that sounds like real.
It's been real. This is Kim, aka your girl KayB,
and this is Brenda.
And this was fun
at the ladies room.
Where can they reach you?
Oh my God! You can call in at 32.
We forgot to do that.